TV18 exclusive. The government is quite certain that its newly unveiled restructuring plan, Uday, for power distribution companies will revive the ailing power discoms. Speaking exclusively to CNBC TV18, Power Minister Piyush Goyal reiterated that the government derived this revival scheme after consultation with all states.
We've already started working on the MOUs, tripartite agreements with the states and the discoms, even before we took the proposal to cabinet. In fact, the entire Uday Yojana, the Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, has evolved out of extensive stakeholder consultations. At my level, I've had meetings with chief ministers of states to bring them on board, with power secretaries, chief secretaries, finance secretaries, Discom heads. We do a review meeting on the 10th of every month with the entire power sector in Delhi. The whole idea behind Uday is a sustainable solution for the power sector for times to come.
So by 2019, when you expect entire Discom to be cleaned up?
Absolutely. Most Discoms by 2017-18, the few residual by 18-19.
One of the major concerns that PFC and REC has is the kind of loss in yield which they will have, because today they are getting around 12%. Going forward, it might be 8.5%, and that loss in yield would lead to short-term loss in profitability of the companies. How do you justify this fall in yield to the longer-term benefits that may come in?
Well, first of all, it's not because of REC PFC alone that I did this. As I mentioned earlier, while we were flying to Kochi to meet with all the power ministers of India, it was on the flight that I discussed with my colleagues that we must have such an interaction. Of course, by the time I was doing my conference, they told me about the REC PFC fall around lunchtime on Friday. So it only reinforced my decision that it's good that we are meeting with investors. Fortunately, this issue was flagged off by REC PFC well in advance, much before we finalized the Uday Yojana. And we have factored that in the cabinet decision, by which we will not stress REC PFC to take these bonds at 8.5% or whatever the rate is finally determined by market. These will be offered in the market, and I've had discussions with insurance companies, provident funds, pension funds. There's a lot of appetite, given the excess liquidity in the market, to pick up these bonds. If there are still any residual bonds in the short term, the banks whose loans have been kind of resolved or whose stress has been taken care of have agreed to take this on in pro rata basis voluntarily. I've discussed all this on an optional basis. They've come on board.
All right, that's the Power Minister saying.